But first, it's nearly always a mistake, isn't it, to write off America. State-level elections in America don't normally matter much elsewhere, but to those who feared the world's most important country, to us at least, was wallowing in this toxic conflict between the Green left and the populist right, symbolised by the choices between Biden and Trump. The election of a centrist Republican late yesterday in Virginia, well, that's a massive tonic. Glenn Youngkin, a middle-of-the-road businessman campaigning largely on parent power in schools, turned a 10% Democrat majority for Biden last November into a 3% majority for a Republican who wasn't Donald Trump. The Democrat case against him was basically a rerun of the presidential campaign. On the stump last week, for example, President Biden used Trump's name 24 times in a 10-minute speech. According to the Democrats, their Republican opponent was anti-black, anti-women, anti-worker. But that didn't stop a majority of voters electing him on a promise to ban critical race theory from classrooms, to better fund the police, and to focus on cost of living pressures by cutting taxes. Hopefully this will break Donald Trump's spell over mainstream Republicans and enable America's centre-right to choose an electable candidate to be the next leader of the free world. As well, it should embolden the centre-right here and elsewhere in the English-speaking world to speak up for common sense against political correctness run rampant. The turning point was when the Democrat candidate, a Clinton machine man who'd been governor before, weighed into the parents' revolt about brainwashing kids and so-called white privilege.
And I'm not going to let parents come into schools and actually take books out and make their own decisions. I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
Now, hopefully, this will resonate here too with our own Education Minister, Alan Tudge, and the Prime Minister. For months now, Tudge has been voicing his concern and complaints with the new national curriculum that further delays kids learning their times tables, banishes Christianity, turns Australia Day into Invasion Day, and claims that Anzac Day is a contested idea. But the problem isn't just the new draft. The old national curriculum was almost as bad, with its insistence that every single subject from PE to geography, maths and chemistry, all of them, had to be taught from an Indigenous, an Asian and a sustainability perspective. Every single subject. Now, by all means, let's learn about these things, but entrenching certain perspectives into every subject, Aboriginal, Asian and sustainability, or let's be honest, call it climate politics, well, that risks turning teaching into propaganda. Yet on the national curriculum, as on bias in the ABC, protecting religious freedoms and scaling back out of control pre-pandemic immigration, Morrison government has been far more talk than action. Now, I hope that changes. I know you hope that changes. But right now, that's a reality. And that's been the problem with our centre-right generally, at least since the days of John Howard and Tony Abbott. It's not really clear what it's for or what it's against. And anything big and worth doing doesn't get done, like nuclear power, unless they can get bipartisanship on it. And when they can't, and that's pretty much most of the time, the idea gets dumped, they walk away from the fight, and in the end, the left remains in power even while the right is in office. You see, if you're in politics for all the right reasons, if you've got backbone and conviction, sometimes the best thing you can have in government or opposition is a God Almighty fight with the other side, because politics is supposed to be the battle of ideas. If it isn't worth fighting for, why should voters vote for it? The left, by contrast, always knows what it wants: to support other countries against our own and to prefer other cultures over ours, to run down the family, Christianity, especially Catholicism, and capitalism, to promote feeling over thinking, being over doing, and always to justify welfare over work. The big state on their side, small government, greater freedoms on mine. Our contemporary ills, from the climate cult to gender fluidity, virus hysteria, the magic pudding economics, and above all else, the cultural self-loathing typified by mandatory taking the knee at sporting matches, they're all products of this, the left's long march through the institutions. It's way past time for the Morrison government to take a stronger stand against political correctness in all its forms, especially if it wants to give Conservative voters a better reason to vote for them for a fourth term, other than just the line, the alternative would be worse. Now, a good start, learning from the governor's race in Virginia, would be to scrap the draft national curriculum, not just try and make a bad curriculum less bad, dump it all together. Pick a fight with Labor. Pick a fight over values and schools. Embrace that fight, own it, give coalition supporters some heart, because right now, boy, don't they need it.